Hello everyone. Today I present about what is waiting for us at the end. Inherent biases and off-game story endings in large language models. This is a joint work between Ritsumeikan University and University of Florence. As some of you may know that large language models has been recently introduced in many of the existing work. Its popularity may due to one of the factors called emergent abilities. These are the abilities that only exist in a larger kind of the language model, and it enables this model to perform a task that it may not be explicitly trained on. Recently introduced LLM are GPT-4, ChatGPT, and Llama 2. Inherent bias may have been introduced into this model due to the fact that there might be some bias that already exist within the model, which may due to the training dataset or the alignment process. This kind of bias may propagate through the generated content. So in this study, we aim to further investigate this kind of bias in the context of game story generation. So for the methods, there are two phases in this study. First, we generate a story. To generate a story, we develop a prompt to instruct the model to generate a game story without any explicit constraint except for the output formatting. We also select three models. First, ChatGPT or GPT 3.5, second, GPT-4, and finally, Llama 2. After all of these stories are generated, we perform the story classification. The story classification was performed by the large language model as well. We develop another classification prompt and instruct it to classify the story based on its ending into one of the three categories: positive, negative, or neutral ending. Finally, we aggregated all of the results as shown here in the table. The first interesting observation is that most of the model were generating positive ending story. This shows that this kind of model are generating a story because it may be safer due to the training dataset, or it may due to the alignment process. Another one is about Llama 2. It generates 100% positive ending story. However, this is not the case because in fact, it always generates the same story. Only if we instruct it using the JSON format. When we remove this output formatting constraint, Llama 2 will generate a variety of stories. This might be another kind of bias induced by the output formatting. And finally, GPT-4 and Llama 2 came up with its own category called bittersweet, and this is likely due to the bias exists within this model when it encounters an appearance of the word bittersweet in the generated story, which means that LLM may not always follow instruction. Therefore, the downstream component should be designed in a way that it will resilient to this kind of improper formatting. Another observation is that some of the words appear very frequently. This is likely due to some of the data distribution within the dataset or the alignment process, which induce this model to produce a higher frequency of some words. So to mitigate this kind of behavior, we propose some of the recommendation. First, explicit instruction. Give the instruction explicitly on what you want or you don't want. Another one is fail-safe mechanisms. It should be built into the components that consuming the large language model generated output. Finally, we believe that with better training dataset along with the training process, this kind of inherent biases may be mitigated. So that's all from our work here today. Thank you.